Hey guys, Winslow Bent here. Welcome back to another episode of This Old Truck. Today we've got a 1947 Dodge Power Wagon that has been completely restored and modernized by Legacy Classic Trucks. This is a $400,000 vehicle. I can't wait to show you guys what goes into building one of these machines and what it's like to drive one. Come on, let's go check it out. So one of the first things that people want to know about is what's under the hood. So here we've taken the 4BT Cummins and we've put compound turbochargers on here, some oversized injectors, we've racked the injection pump, and we've brought this up to 200, 250 horsepower depending on your final fuel settings. We've got about 550 to 600 foot-pounds of torque, and that is enough power to make this thing absolutely scoot. So one of the things that we're running on this truck is compound turbos. Basically, you've got a smaller turbocharger that is then breathing into a larger turbocharger. So imagine a big one stacked on top of a small one. Now, what that's going to do on a diesel truck is right off idle, this is going to start to build some boost. So you're not going to have that thing called turbo lag. And what you're going to end up with is nice, clean, linear boost all the way through the RPM range in something that is very, very drivable. There's two types of improvements that you can make to your restoration. You can make functional improvements, and you can make the sort of artistic, the beautiful, the cool improvements. I wanted to show you some of the stuff that Legacy Classic Trucks do in regards to the functionality that make these things drive so darn well. One of the things is that old trucks designed to go 40, 50 miles an hour, and now you've got a vehicle capable of going 80 miles an hour. You are pushing a lot of air around this vehicle that's not very aerodynamic. And so you're going to start to pick up a lot of wind noise. One of the things that Legacy does is they've built this lip that completely surrounds the original door frame. That would have never been there originally. Not only a nice seal to keep out the weather, but that's going to keep down your wind noise a whole bunch. Going into the interior of the vehicle, there's some cool things to point out. First of all is all the levers coming through the floor. Now that's one of the characteristics of the original Dodge Power Wagon. The old timers used to call that the forest. And so when we're going through and doing a modernization on a vehicle like this, you want to make sure you keep all those calling cards in place. Some other interior details that Legacy is known for. Look at all these switches here. These are sealed Carling marine rocker switches. Everything is big, easy to reach, easy to get to. In fact, if you were wearing your work gloves, you could reach everything on here. You can control your trailer, hit all the switches, pull all the levers. So this is a working man's truck. That's what the history of the Dodge Power Wagon is. And Legacy didn't want to give that up when they were making a modern interpretation of this vehicle. The Power Wagon was a true work truck, and one of the things they wanted was a huge bed. On an original Power Wagon, the bed was almost 9 feet long, and the width in between the wheel wells here is huge. If you look at some later model trucks like Chevrolets from the 50s, you notice that the wheel wells start encroaching more and more into the bed, reducing your functional space. Because this is a flat fender Power Wagon, the wheels stick way out and are covered by those flat fenders, allowing you to have more room in the bed. Legacy has gone through and upgraded basically every single part of this truck. One of the things that's pretty neat that you wouldn't be able to see if the bedwood was in was the fuel tank. They've actually created a complete cradle that the fuel tank sits in. That's like a piece of armor that's going to protect it in case you're getting hit with rocks and things like that when you're off-road. The rear bumper on this vehicle, again, is super heavy duty like the front. It's 1/4-inch steel, super thick. I feel pretty confident that you could back into just about anything you wanted to, and you're probably not going to hurt the bumper. Look at these flush-mounted lights they've got on here. We're going to use floodlights in the back, so when you're backing up, say at night, you want to see where you're going, you're trying to hook up to a trailer, the floodlight's going to give you a really nice pattern so you can see where you're going. On the front of the truck, you might use the same lamp, but you're going to get it with that focused beam on it so it throws the light way down the road. So use floods in the back and those tight beams in the front, then you're going to have really nice performance. All right guys, we've got the Power Wagon up on our sterile Coney lifts. These lifts are really cool in that they'll tell you how much weight is on each one. You total it up, this Power Wagon weighs 6,000 pounds and it's not even done yet. Let's check this thing out. I think we can get some unique views underneath this vehicle. Again, being partially assembled, I think we can get a glimpse of some pretty cool stuff here. We're running the 4BT Cummins. We've already talked about that a bit. Here's the NV4500 5-speed manual transmission, our Atlas transfer case, all aluminum, super strong unit. Go back here, you see that there's a driveline loop. You think, well, that's kind of silly on a truck. Why would you do that? Well, Legacy puts this on not because they have any intention of going drag racing, but because this is one of the structural cross members that they've added to the chassis to give it additional rigidity. So the driveline comes straight down to the back. Legacy's running a corporate 14 bolt in the back. Those are those big Chevy axles from the 1980s. Super indestructible. A couple of other things to point out on the undercarriage of this vehicle. Here's your ARB air compressor that's running the air lockers. That's also going to give you the ability to inflate your tires when you're out on the trail. Behind that you have dual batteries. Why would you want dual batteries in a truck like this? Well, you got that big diesel motor and they're hard to kick over. So having two batteries run in parallel gives you that extra amperage. Also, say you're the type of person who likes to go on camping trips. You stay up late, drink a little beer, listening to some tunes. You don't want to run that battery down. So having two is better than having one. Okay, coming around to the front of this Power Wagon, a couple of cool things to point out here. Four-wheel drive truck is going to have a lot more suspension travel than you might be used to, say if you're into street rods or something like that. So you're really going to want to make sure what the total travel of this front axle is. Your bump stops are going to be the limiting factor in that. So it's pretty easy to measure how much this differential is going to move up and down. And you want to make dang sure that there's no interference between this differential and your oil pan. Another thing that comes up when you're dealing with a company like Legacy or someone that knows what they're doing is that idea of serviceability, that you don't want to put something together just once. You want to be able to have your vehicle easily serviced. Legacy went through and put a remote oil filter. Now the oil filter sits right out here. Yes, it's protected by the bumper. It's not going to get hit by anything. But imagine this, you just drain your oil, spin the old filter off, spin the new one on, and you're back on the road. But I did think this was a good opportunity to show you guys something really cool on the underside and what it looks like when a vehicle like this is coming together. So one of the benefits of having this 100-to-1 low range is the incredible torque multiplication, but the confidence it gives you to move at such slow speed through the forest, because this is a big vehicle. So right now, she's driverless. 100-to-1, you can open a gate, let the truck drive itself through, do whatever you want. God bless Atlas transfer cases, man. These things are sweet. Wow, I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have. This Power Wagon is an absolute beast. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to be affording a $400,000 truck anytime soon, but what a cool thing to check out. Speaking of checking stuff out, if you would like to see more great episodes like this, more cool trucks, please click subscribe and remember to ring the notification bell so you can get the content first. If you have any comments, feel free to leave a comment about this truck or anything else. It's been an absolute pleasure driving this thing around. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.